Welcome to All Things Social Security. My name is Stephanie Joy of Joy Disability. I am a Social Security disability attorney, and I would like to invite you to watch our daily video tips on the Social Security disability and SSI claims process each day at the new time of noon Eastern Standard Time here on YouTube on this channel. And on Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have our live Q&A live stream. So you are welcome to join that as well. Ask your questions, get there on time, and you'll be one of the first answered. Thanks so much and have a great day. Enjoy the video. TGIF, happy Friday, everybody. And special thoughts to our deployed service members who can't be home like many of us can be. Anyway, anyone who wants to give them a little shout out with me, feel free. Today's the day I do it on Red Friday. Okay, this is from the SSA's Office of Inspector General, and they publish these where everybody can see them if they choose to. They're right online. This is the person was convicted and sentenced. So this was a Mexican from Mexico who was not a U.S. citizen and not a green card holder or anything like that. And it looks like, and I'll say his name because he has been found guilty and as such is not presumed innocent until proven guilty, since he's been proven guilty. This is Alfredo Mendoza Montero, 45, of Mexico. And you might think this sounds innocuous, but we'll get into it in a second. Documents reflect, this is court documents reflected, that Montero illegally entered the United States in 2019 and purchased identification documents belonging to a real American citizen. He knowingly used these documents to fraudulently apply for a United States passport in 2022 and to obtain a Florida's driver's license in 2023. Montero lived under the assumed citizen's identity while living in the Pensacola area until he was arrested by federal authorities on April 1st, 2025. I'm curious as to how they discovered this. I wonder if someone reported him. And sometimes it is important to call people out and report when they're doing things like this. I have no tolerance anymore for illegal presence or any of those manipulated, well, we're going to change the name and put lipstick on a pig and call it something else, whole nother story. So here we go. So they go on to say, so when he when he purchased, which is illegal, probably off the dark web or something like that, or had connections down, in some city down there, he has a social security number. And the person he stole it from was a Puerto Rican United States citizen living in Puerto Rico. So somehow that person's information became available to ne'er-do-wells who profit from it, created documents, and sold them to this illegal alien. So a social security number that was not his was used. They don't go on to say what he did with all this stuff. And I'm curious to know, did he take out some loans? Did he work illegally? What did he do with it? We know he got a U.S. passport. That's a no-no. Florida's driver's license. That's a no-no. What else did he do? He was here for 6 years. So he was only arrested in April. So he had a long time to be running around pretending to be some innocent victim in Puerto Rico. So I just would like to know. But, he did get 2 years in federal prison, 2 years and 1 day to be precise, in federal prison, having pled guilty to the charges. And is that enough? Again, I don't think it is. However, and people present this to me all the time, and I see the point. We spend a lot of money housing people. 3 hots and a cot, plus they usually get internet and gym workouts and all this other stuff. I don't think 2 years is enough of a punishment. However, how much do we punish the American people financially as well? But was he a violent person? Had he committed any crimes? This is what I would like to know. This is what they don't include in here. It doesn't mean it didn't happen. We know he's obviously prone to committing crimes because he's been doing it for 6 years. But just curious if there was anything else on this fellow. There might not be. Back in the day, when I was younger and far more thoughtless and liberal, I didn't think it was a big deal to be an illegal. I had friends who were, and I just didn't think it was a big deal. And nobody actually talked about it, well, at least none of the reads that I did, because I was probably limited in my reading to my feckless little 20-something-year-old, information. And I look back now and I go, whoa, that was bad. And as human beings, perfectly fine people. But in the end, we see now what it has done. It has damaged this country, probably in some ways irreparably. But, and I honestly, you don't blame the person being enticed over the border as much as you do the enticers. And we all knew who they are, right? They're some of the bigwigs and they are the enticers. And there's a reason for that. And if you haven't figured it out yet, you should probably pay attention and figure out why they'd be doing that. I challenge you to do that. I will talk to you guys later. That is the fraud law review for today, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye. Hello again. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it was helpful, if not just a little bit informative. In the event you have a Social Security question you want addressed, please feel free to make a comment below and ask the question, even if nothing to do with this particular video. And just a quick, again, reminder, we have our daily video shares and tips around noon every day of the week. And on Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have our live Q&A session where you can come in live and enter your questions in the chat. And we all pretty much have a good time for an hour or two. I look forward to seeing you there, hopefully. And lastly, don't forget about our benefactor memberships. They're very reasonably priced. The first one is very nominal and you get a few perks, but on a bigger scale, it contributes to us being able to fulfill a mission of assisting certain people with representation that would otherwise not be able to get it. We look forward to continuing to do that. And so far it's working out like the bomb. So thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Bye-bye now.